department, and then obviously the PSP, part of the outreach and research department at SN. I'm super excited to be working with SN. I just started back in June, so not too long ago, but I'm really excited to be here and really happy that you all are here too. And then I will pass it on to Sarah.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah. I just started working at SN a few months ago, and I just joined the Presynaptic Project a month ago, actually, to work on this workshop for you guys. And I normally work on the Synapse podcast as an editor. I forgot who is next, but...
Hi guys, my name is Ananya. I'm part of the awareness and OR departments of SN, and it's so great to see all of you here. It's really amazing that you're here on a Saturday morning, so we really appreciate that, and we hope that you enjoy this workshop.
Okay, was that everybody that's here right now?
I think so.
You can go back. There's still a couple of people. I'm just working on unmuting everybody.
Hi, my name is Jelani, and I have been a part of SN for a few months now, but I've been part of the OR and marketing department, but I'm so glad to be part of the Presynaptic Project. I joined about a month and a half ago, but I'm so excited to see everyone and that they're able to be here and ready to learn, so thank you everyone.
And then Kritika, if they're here.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm sorry for the thing that I've not switched on the camera because I'm facing such network issue. So I've been part of SN from I guess October, and yeah, this organization is really amazing, and we, as you all know, we develop stuff for people who are really, and youth who's really interested in neuroscience. So yes, I'm really excited for this project, and I guess everybody would find it interesting. Thank you.
So we're not just going to dive right into the content, just because people are still getting logged on, but I know Erin wants to just run through some icebreakers so we can all get to know each other. So Erin, take it away.
Oh yeah, okay. So like I said before, my name is Erin. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm also very excited for you all to be here. So we have some icebreakers. Just our participants are not allowed to have their cameras on for reasons that Gerline explained, but we did want to have some sort of interactiveness because we're excited you all are here and we want to interact with you. So if you would, there's a chat feature in the bottom bar. I'm sure you've used it over the course of distance learning if you're doing that. But if you would like to put in chat where you're from, either maybe a city or a state, either way, or country, and then also what your favorite ice cream flavor is. I could say I'm from LA, California, USA, and I like cookies and cream, but honestly, sorbet just really hits the spot for me. So I would say maybe raspberry or lemon sorbet, or the combination of the two. It's just out of this world. But yeah, what about you all?
I'm Sarah, and I'm from the Bay Area, California. And my favorite ice cream flavor, I think, is actually just cookies and cream. Super basic, but or any weird Ben & Jerry's flavor. Been trying to try all their new ones.
Yeah, it looks like we have more cookies and cream.
You got a lot of cookies and cream. Yeah. I used to be team cookies and cream, and then I tried mint chocolate chip ice cream, and I think it's just an acquired taste, but it's really good. Matcha, that's an interesting one. I didn't like matcha until I was like in high school. I always found it too strong, but then I started loving it like out of nowhere.
I've never tried it. I feel like I should.
You should. It's pretty good.
There's really good or there's not so great.
I think matcha is like a very specific recipe. Like my sister tries to make it. Yeah, it's like only like 50-50. But I hope she improves. I see we have some chocolate. That's really exciting. Chocolate's a classic.
We have 2 people from Canada. Awesome.
I'm from Canada too.
Hey, and lots from California. Awesome. Dang, 3 people from Ontario. Oh my God. Texas, nice. 2 from Texas.
Wow,
That's
butter
awesome.
pecan. That's the first time hearing that.
Oh, wow.
That's a niche for sure. Wow. Chocolate.
Mhm.
A lot of parents like that one. At least mine do.
Welcome from Turkey. That's awesome.
So if anyone is reading the chat right now, you guys can see that we have people from all over the world, which kind of explains the timing. I know that if you're on the West Coast right now, it's probably 8 a.m. for you. If you're on the East Coast, it's just past 11, and there's people from India, Turkey, which so we understand like it's probably Saturday, it might be really early, really late for you, but it really does mean a lot that you guys are willing to get up early or stay up late to come and join us on this workshop today. So thank you for having more discipline than I did back then, because I would be sleeping in.
Yeah, I know if I'm in high school now, but I know back in middle school, I definitely would not have the drive to get up. Like I said, I'm in California, so it's about 8 o'clock for me. So I know when I was in middle school, I would be dead asleep in my bed right now. So congrats to you all and for having the drive to be here. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I know Saturday mornings for me are mostly cartoons.
Yeah.
It's quite more interactive than I was used to at the time. All right, so Erin, do you want to go ahead and introduce Simply Neuroscience?
Yeah, so Simply Neuroscience, it's an international student-run nonprofit organization, and we try to empower students to get involved in the interdisciplinary fields of neuroscience and psychology through education, outreach, and awareness. And so some of the different departments we have are writing and editing, brain resource creation, where we create resources for other high school and college students, and we have outreach and research that does a whole host of different initiatives. And so it's really a diverse, inclusive, and really proactive organization that I'm really glad to be a part of. Yeah.
All right. So let's introduce some of our leads. We met some of them. One of them is Gerline, so if she can introduce herself.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. So hi, everyone. My name is Gerline. If you watched the video we posted on Google Classroom earlier this week, my 2 co-leads, Elizabeth and Divya, are unfortunately not able to join us this morning because of scheduling issues in their own timetables, but that's okay. I'm here, and so I'm just going to say some words on behalf of all of us. Like I said earlier, it really does mean so much to us that you guys believe in this project and that you're so willing and eager to learn. I was in high school when I took a psychology course, and I realized that I love neuroscience. And so that kind of helped me, it actually inspired me to create this course, because I realized that when I was younger, I didn't really know what neuroscience was. I didn't really know what resources were out there, and I never thought I'd actually ever be smart enough to understand it. But then I started doing some work with Simply Neuroscience's HR department, and I actually got to interview students for SN who are actually a lot younger than me. And I realized that, hey, I was in grade 11, but there's kids in grade 9 and 10, so there's probably even younger kids who have the same interests as me. So that's kind of why we came up with this idea. And I really hope that whether from this course you learn that you love neuroscience or you hate it, that you really do get a chance to explore it and see if there's something here for you. We also have Paige here, who is one of our co-directors of the Outreach and Research Department at Simply Neuroscience. So Paige, if you just want to say a few words.
Hi guys. Yeah, like Gerline said, my name's Paige. I'm from Pennsylvania in the United States. My other co-director of OR, Sasha, could not be here this morning for scheduling issues, but I just wanted to say hi and thank you so much for coming. We're really happy to have you all here. You know, as we've said before, early mornings, but it's great to see the next generation of neuroscientists and psychologists already getting engaged. So enjoy the great workshop that your leads have put together for you.
All right, so now into some rules.
Yeah, so I know you guys are really excited to get started and learn about the awesome workshop we have planned. There's just some rules we want to go over first. These are rules that are going to apply in pretty much every workshop that you attend in this course. So number one is to keep your audio and video off during the workshop unless you were asked by the co-leads to maybe share an answer. Otherwise, you can just use the chat. And if you did not provide media consent, so if you're not sure about this, just ask your parent or look over the form again. So if you did not give us permission to record you or take photos of you, then make sure your audio and video is always off. If you have anything to say, you can use the chat. Please keep your messages in the chat appropriate to the topic. If we see that you're being inappropriate, we will ban you from being able to use the chat. Workshops are recorded, so this one is being recorded right now. And the reason why is because we have people from all around the world. So maybe it's too late or too early for you to attend the workshop, but we still want people to be able to watch them. So that's why we are going to record them and post them on YouTube. So if you ever miss them or you want to go back to watch, you will always have that ability. And the last thing is that you do not have to attend every single workshop, but attendance is taken for prizes and certificates in June. So it is expected that students will attend at least 2 of the workshops throughout the course. And moving on to the next slide, our office hours host this month is actually here. Kritika, do you want to talk a little bit about what office hours are?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for giving me a chance. So basically in office, if there is anything in the presentation that you want to if you want me to explain, I'll be there for you to explain that things over again to you. And if you have any questions related to the virtual challenge or anything, you can always ask it from me. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
It's also a really good time to come and hang out if you just want to. All right.
Okay, so you all should have something called a neuro notebook that you prepared before the workshop. And if not, it should be in the Google Classroom. And so just open that up if you will. And then once you all have that open, there's the title and then a table. And then there are some questions that we would like you all to answer. It says kind of a warm up and get you thinking about some scents. So just let me know when you all have that open so I can just introduce those to you. You can just put it in chat. Cool, okay. I will take your answer and run with it. So as everyone else is getting it open, I'll go ahead and introduce these questions. So the first one is just name some of your favorite scents. And if you're stuck, some examples can be citrus, like oranges, lemons, all that good stuff. And then any type of pie, berry pie, pumpkin pie, maybe around Thanksgiving, your family cooks some pumpkin pie. And then freshly baked cookies, pizza, anything like that. And it doesn't have to be food. It could also be the beach. It could be even just your room, grandma's house, anything like that. I know I really like the smell of pumpkin pie. That's super good. I also like, bacon and eggs maybe in the morning. Those are some really nice smells. So just put some of those down under your neuro notebook, under the first question. If you have it printed out, you can just write it under the first question. And if you have it up on your computer or whatever device you're on, then you can just type it under the first question. But it's nice to see some answers in chat too. Very nice. Perfume and pizza, yeah. Japanese cherry blossom, nice. I know Bath and Body Works has some nice perfume scented that, I'm pretty sure. And then the ocean, yes. Books, oh gosh, yes. I agree. And then the next question is, why are these your favorite scents? So some prompting questions are, do they remind you of happy times? And when did you first encounter them?
Oh, chocolate lava cake. That's a really good one.
Yeah, we're getting specific. This is awesome. 2 people love the smell of the ocean. Yeah, gotta agree with that one. Oh, and I also see a question in chat. What does the olfactory mean, etc.? What does the amygdala mean, and what is the orbitofrontal cortex? We will get to that later in the workshop. There's actually a whole slide dedicated to exactly those things. Okay, I will give you all another minute or so to get your answers down. Looks like some people are finishing, so good job, good job. Okay, so now we can move on and jump into some content. Okay, so smells, do they ring bells? Indeed they do. So starting off with a little fun fact, the human nose can detect up to 1 trillion different odors. That is a lot of smells. So our sense of smell is really special because it's pretty closely linked to our emotions and our memory. And so here's a little exercise. Just take a deep breath. What do you smell around you? So I'm in my room, so I'm not smelling too much right now. No one's cooking breakfast or anything, but I smell the air around me, maybe cardboard, maybe. But what do you all smell? You can just put this one in chat. You might smell some pancakes or some flowers in your house. Your hot chocolate. Hey, nice, Gerline, nice. Oh, a candle in your room. That's awesome. Dust. Garlic, paper. Yeah, I smell paper too. Yeah. Nice. And so our sense of smell helps us respond to information in our surrounding environment. And it's also super important for our survival and alerts us of possible danger. So an example of this would be smoke. So if you start smelling smoke from any source of fire, most commonly, then you're going to know to hightail it out of there, just get it quickly and get out, which could possibly save your life. So that's definitely super important. And on to the next side.
All right. So certain scents can trigger intense emotions or detailed memories of the past. I know, like it says on the left, when I smell cookies, I get really happy because that means that there's freshly baked cookies. My mom made them actually. Does the smell of a home-cooked meal instantly bring you comfort and remind you of your loved ones, like maybe Thanksgiving dinners when you spend a lot of time with your family? So let's find out why.
All right, so it's kind of the basis of how we smell. So this is all about the thalamus, and there's a little diagram on the right locating that for you. And so it's a lot like a traffic cop, which you can see located on the far right, pictured on the far right, and it basically just directs brain traffic in the correct direction. And so when signals enter the brain, in this case, just any sensory signals except for smell, which we'll get to in a second. And then when signals enter the brain, they go through the thalamus where it's directed where to go next. Sometimes the cerebellum, just anything like that. And then out of our 5 senses, this is super important. Smell is the only one out of the 5 that does not enter the thalamus. So it actually travels directly to areas of the brain involved in emotion and memory processing, which we'll talk about very soon. And this is why our memories linked to smell tend to be super strong and super vivid too.
Okay. And now onto some basics. What is the olfactory system? Like someone was asking earlier, I think. So basically, olfaction is our sense of smell. So the olfactory system involves our brain, nerves, and the olfactory organs, which are constantly working together to make a sense of the scents in the air. And today we're learning about the following three components of our olfactory system: olfactory receptor cells, olfactory bulb, and the olfactory tract.
Yes, okay. So we broke this one down just to make it a little easier because there is a lot of content on this side, but it's really exciting content. So the first thing we'll talk about, there are three major things involved in the olfactory pathway. Well, technically five, but these are kind of the foundation, the structures in our brain that really make up the pathway. And so the first one we'll talk about is the orbitofrontal cortex. So this is the slide. Someone asked earlier in chat what these things are. This is the slide that'll tell you. So abbreviated, the OFC, it helps us make sense of what we're smelling. So odor, perception, and discrimination. And then moving on to the next one, the amygdala, you might recognize this one as being really involved in memory, emotional memory, etc. And so this one is, in terms of smell, is responsible for emotional reactions to odors and whether that's pleasant or unpleasant responses. So an example of a pleasant response might be walking into your house and smiling when you smell cookies being baked or the flowers that your mom set out earlier, something like that. And then a negative reaction, personally, I have a strong distaste for ginger. I don't like it at all. And so I have a negative reaction. I, crinkle my nose and run the other direction. I don't like it at all. And then, Sarah, I think you mentioned something about sweet potatoes too.
Yeah, I'm allergic to sweet potatoes, so I started hating the smell of it, which is a very good smell before I realized I was allergic to it. I started associating it with feeling sick afterwards. So,
yeah, which makes sense. And then moving on to the hippocampus. So this one is involved in memory and learning. And so essentially it allows us to remember odors and recall them from the past. And so moving up the tree, we have the olfactory bulb. Then there's a description on the right. And so the olfactory bulb is our brain's smell centers, how you can think of it. And we can also think of it as a messenger. So it sends messages through the olfactory tract to different areas of our brain where the olfactory information can be further processed. And then moving up even more to our last one, olfactory receptors. So smells or odorants from the air go into our nose and then they reach a mucus lining, and this is also called the olfactory epithelium. And then in order to come in contact, then they move to the olfactory receptors. And so the olfactory receptors are small hair-like parts that extend out from our olfactory bulb, which we covered last. And then this is in our nasal cavity. So just to get a better understanding, that was a ton of content. And so just a little review in your neuro notebooks. There's an activity called Making Sense of It All, which you can see the directions for here. So based on what you just learned about our olfactory system in that last slide, just try your best to answer the questions and we can figure out the answers together after. So just open that notebook, and then it's the next one just below the pre-workshop questions, which you just answered about your favorite sense. So the first one is, what were you surprised to learn about our sense of smell? You can put it mostly in your notebook, but you can also put it in chat because we are also very interested in what you learned and knowing after our five senses smell. Yes. Yeah, that is very interesting. I agree. And then under that question, you can keep putting your reactions to that, both in your notebook and in chat if you would like. And then the next thing below that on the next page is to fill in the blanks on the olfactory pathway down below. And then there are 3 boxes with 4 different blanks. And then that is the main thing, but we can go through those answers after you all have completed that.
And here's the slide in case you need some reminders of what everything is.
Yeah, 1 trillion odors, that is a ton. it's amazing to think about how much we actually smell in a day. You know, we can smell something in passing, like maybe we pass a food vendor on the street and we barely even think about it because we might be used to that. Or yeah, exactly. It's hard to picture even in itself 1 trillion things. That's insane. So yeah, that's definitely crazy. I agree with that one too. Okay. And then just keep putting those responses in, fill out those blanks. And then just moving on real quick to the last question. Why is it important for the olfactory bulb to send out our sensory information to different areas of the brain? You can just go ahead and do those. And we'll move on in about 2 minutes or so, just going over the blanks. Okay, and then it would also be helpful if you all could just put a yes or even just a Y in chat to let me know that you all are ready to go over or figure out the answers together. Yes, okay, I'm seeing a lot of yeses, so we can go ahead and get started on that. So let me know what you all put for the first blank. So blank from the air, enter our nose. Smell, scent. Yep. Odorants, perfect. Awesome. Yes, that is correct. And then the next one, next they travel through our mucus lining to reach the olfactory blank, in parentheses, nerve cells. Seeing a lot of receptors. Yes. Yes, receptors is correct for the second blank. And then moving on to the last box, the olfactory bulb sends sensory information through the olfactory blank to brain areas such as the amygdala, orbitofrontal cortex, and blank in order to further process what we are smelling. So what did you all put for the first one? Seeing a lot of tracks. Yes, that is correct. And then the very last blank, what did you all put? It reads through the olfactory tract to brain areas such as the amygdala, orbitofrontal cortex, or OFC, and blank in order to further process what we are smelling. And if you need a reference, you can always look back on the slide being shared. Seeing a lot of hippocampus as answers, and that is correct. Awesome, great job everyone. And then moving on to the next activity.
All right, so did everyone gather their bag of different strong smelling things? Everyone can just put in the chat that they have those next to them right now. Deodorant. Oh, someone has that. All right, so we're gonna start filling out that chart in your neuro notebook. So for the first one, you have 5, I think, different smells that you're supposed to gather. So first, you're gonna try your best to figure out what you're smelling each time you grab one. So basically, there should be an opaque bag. So you're gonna grab one smelling thing, and then smell it and try and see if you can figure out what you're smelling. And then you're gonna try and describe the odor. After that, is it strong, neutral, bad? Is it something very familiar to you? And then if that's the case, 3, you can write down any memories associated with this odor. Say you put in there like some food you really, really love. If someone's saying they got coffee, what if you really like coffee? You can put a memory you associate with that. So if everyone wants to start doing that, and you can send in the chat if there's anything interesting to you that you like, or if there's any of your favorite scents that you chose that you really, really like. Things that you like. Cinnamon, perfume, coffee, and orange peels. Orange peels are a good one. I know someone said earlier deodorant and hand sanitizer. Those are good ones, I hope. You can also say if you put anything in it that you really don't like. I'm sure someone might have put something that they maybe disliked but is very strong. Like if you don't like coffee, I know that's a very strong scent if you dislike it.
So here's kind of like a fun thinking activity for those of you who didn't get a chance to prepare the bag for this activity. What do you, or how do you think scents are put into candles? Does anyone want to take a guess how that works?
I think everyone might be filling out their notebook right now.
Okay, that's good. It's not going to involve anyone. Essences. So I'm actually not sure. I actually have two candles here. The first one is Apple Blossom. This very clearly smells like apples. I think probably the easiest way is almost like, yeah, like an oil or an extract of that scent. But then if you've ever been to like Bath and Body Works, you might hear of like weird scents. I don't know what they call them, like a beautiful day or something. Like, how do you think your beautiful day perfume would smell compared to somebody else's? Like if you had to make a perfume about your perfect day, what would it smell like?
That's a good question.
So you can just let us know in the chat if you're not feeling it, if you're not doing the activity right now. For me, I think maybe my beautiful day would probably smell like some fresh laundry. Hopefully I didn't have to fold it myself. Maybe my mom did it for me. Definitely some food. My favorite food is burritos, so maybe my candle would smell like burritos. Does anybody else have like a scent that always makes them really happy?
I think like being out in trees really makes me happy. Like going hiking, I love that. So that would definitely be in my perfect day scent.
Yeah, so yeah, that's really cool. But that's kind of interesting because like that's very different from what I said. So when we go into like a Bath and Body Works or whatever else, wherever you buy your candles or perfumes, it's interesting how somebody's depiction of a beautiful day might be different from your depiction of a beautiful day. Well, somebody says they like the smell when it's raining. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I also like the smell after it rains, and I think it's called petrichor. I think that's the actual name for it, but it's this earthy, wonderful smell. I definitely have to agree with that one. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Fresh. Yeah, fresh and earthy.
Does anybody have like a weird scent that they totally hate? Like Sarah was saying, she hates sweet potatoes because she's allergic to them. So that's actually another psychological term, which is called conditioning. it would be classical conditioning, which means you start to associate two things unconsciously. So you don't think about them, but when you, for example, she smells sweet potatoes, in her mind, she automatically thinks about how sick they make her. So that's like an association that her brain makes. Does anybody else have any weird sense of things they totally don't like that make them feel super sick? Brussels sprouts. I've heard a lot of hype around Brussels sprouts, and I don't think I've ever had them.
Oh, I actually really enjoy them.
Diapers.
Diapers.
I would think, yeah, that's.
Oh my gosh, you don't like the leather scent inside cars?
Oh my god.
They make like little air fresheners of like new car scent because people love it so much. Yeah, me too. Crackers. Huh, that's interesting. I hate the smell of garbage bags. Like, they have like this weird, they try to make the bag scented, the ones I buy, the Glad ones. And the bag itself smells bad, even before there's garbage in it. I think it's because I associate the bag with garbage. Probably why.
Yeah, I actually, speaking of bags, I really like the smell of Ziploc bags for some reason. It kind of reminds me of cupcakes or something like that.
Oh, Marcella, I'm with you on the ketchup one. I hate the smell of ketchup.
Ketchup is a really strong smell. Sharpie. Wow.
Yes.
Can that person mute themselves, please? Okay, perfect. So if everyone's kind of gotten a chance to do this activity, just let us know in the chat and we can move on.
The smell of lemons? Wow.
Okay, no problem. We can just wait.
I really love
anyone...
the smell of lemon scented disinfectant and stuff. So hearing all like lemons is really strange to me.
I was thinking about this earlier, but I was like, we never really used hand sanitizer, like, well, before the whole COVID pandemic. The only time I think I really used hand sanitizer consistently was I went camping in middle school. And my middle school, when we'd all line up to like go and get our food that night, they'd like pump hand sanitizer into everybody's hands because like they're in the middle of the forest. And so I always associated hand sanitizer with camping and fun in the summer. And after COVID, I do not like the smell of hand sanitizer anymore. I don't plan on smelling it after this is all done. I'm just going to use soap and wash my hands.
Yeah, some stores are using really whack smelling hand sanitizer. It's just not nice. And then it gets all like crinkly, or it gets all just, it like falls apart on your hand. It's really weird. So yeah, it's, you know, don't think.
What do you guys think about the smell of hand sanitizer? Do you think it smells good, or is it too strong for you? Let us know in the chat.
Some are really nice.
Wow,
the viscosity of hand sanitizers. No,
okay,
Paige, you totally have a point with that. I feel like hand sanitizers are like so watery, especially if you're like outside a store or something and that's where you're pumping it. It's just like, it's not even like a solid anymore.
Some people love or hate coffee beans, it looks like.
Huh. Yeah, it's interesting how we're so divided on it.
The 72% alcohol sanitizers. I actually think like an alcohol-based hand sanitizer is more effective. That's why they recommend that you have alcohol in your hand sanitizer. But I understand it smells really bad.
I've been stocking up on the Bath and Body Works ones because they don't smell as bad.
In my stocking for Christmas, I got hand sanitizer. I'm like, what world do we live in?
What does our world come to?
Okay, so we're just going to give you like maybe one more minute, and then we're going to move on from this activity. If you didn't get a chance to finish, that's no problem. You can do this after the workshop. You can do it with a family member after the workshop, whatever it may be. But we are going to move on in the interest of time.
Okay, so when you see pop quiz, you might freak out, but there's no need. So So going through this, and we'll go over all the answers together, so do not worry about it. So under the last activity, there's a pop quiz, and then so the directions, this is just to check in on what you've learned so far. It's not going to be graded, you're good. So feel free to collaborate with your peers and refer to the PowerPoint if you get stuck, so feel free to talk in chat. But we will go over the answers afterwards. So just go ahead and fill that out. There are 5 questions, each with 1 blank, and they're just going over what we learned. So just kind of to test your knowledge and see how much you retained. And then just put, yes, Gerline with the support. Let's go. I support you all too. You can do it. So I can read them out for you if it helps. So smell does not enter the blank like our other senses do. This is why our sense of smell is closely linked to our emotions and memories. And just a little hint, someone put this as an interesting thing that they learned in chat earlier. So see if you can figure out what that is. And then I suppose we can just go over them as we go through it. I'll wait another minute though, so everyone can finish. Yes. So we'll go over them in about a minute. But I suppose I can continue reading out. I kind of stopped at the first one. So the second question, what system is used for smelling? The blank system. The olfactory blank is our brain's smell center that sends messages to different parts of the brain for us to further process smell. The blank is responsible for our emotional reactions to odors. And then number 5, the smell or the small hair-like parts extending out from the olfactory bulb are the olfactory blank, and they're located in our nasal cavity. So just put a yes or a Y, anything affirming that you have finished the quiz, and then we can go over them together. Okay, I see 2 yeses so far. I'll wait until I see 5 or so. All right, we got 4 people finished. Okay. I think we can just start going over them. Even if you're on the last question, it's okay, just finish up real quick, or the last few questions. So for the first one, smell does not enter the blank. What do you all think? It's why our sense of smell is closely linked to our emotions and memories. What are you all thinking? All right, we got a few answers in the chat. All right, and the answers in chat are correct. It is the thalamus. It does not enter, or smell does not enter the thalamus like our other senses do. Okay, the second question, what system is used for smelling? The blank system. What do we think? We got 1 answer, 2 answers, 3, 4. Yes, and they're all correct. The olfactory system is used for smelling. Awesome. And then question 3, the olfactory blank is our brain's smell center that sends messages to different parts of the brain for us to further process smell. Number 3, what do we think? Okay, I don't see any answers in chat yet, so I will, olfactory nerve, good guess, good guess. Seeing some other answers in chat. Okay, so I see 2 or 3, correct? So yeah, it is the olfactory bulb. It's our brain smell center. Awesome. So good guesses all around, but yeah, it is the olfactory bulb. Okay, and then number 4, the blank is responsible for our emotional reactions to odors. What do we think? Awesome. Yes, I see the right answers in chat. The amygdala. Great job, everyone. Okay. And then for the last question for this quiz, the small hair-like parts sitting out from the olfactory bulb are the olfactory blank, and they're located in our nasal cavity. Receptors. Yes. Great job, everyone. That is correct. Receptors. Okay. And that wraps it up for the pop quiz. So now we'll move on to another activity. Great job.
So some fun facts. Humans have around 400 types of olfactory or smell receptors, and each different one responds to a different group of chemicals. And 400 seems really small when you compare it to dogs, which have around 300 million olfactory receptors in their nose, and a large portion of their brain dedicated to olfaction, almost 40,000 larger, 40 times larger than ours, sorry. So that explains why they can smell so much better and they rely on their smell so heavily. Anosmia is the complete or partial loss of sense of smell, traumatic brain injuries, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, infections like COVID-19, or damage to the olfactory system may lead to this condition. And smell tests appear to be useful in predicting the risk of memory decline in patients for those with like Alzheimer's disease. If they're losing their sense of smell, that could show that it's progressing a little faster. Does anybody know anyone, or some people might know people who have like lost their sense of smell due to COVID temporarily or permanently? I've heard it can last. But it is one of the few viruses that can cause that. And now we're going to review.
Yeah, so that was a ton of information. And so we understand if you're a bit overwhelmed, that was a lot to take in. And just a friendly reminder before we go over this to come to our office hours. It's on January 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And just to use the same link that you used to join, and it'll also be posted in the classroom closer to that date. And I think even after this workshop. And then, so for an overview of what we've learned so far, so the first point is that odorants are smells from the air enter our nose. So those cookies are the smell of those cookies, that perfume, those candles, those are all, or rust, someone mentioned that, enter our nose. And then the next step is that they bind to olfactory receptors, which are the hair-like structures in our mucus lining, and then which is the epithelium. And then the third point is that they then reach the olfactory bulb. And then number 4, and the last one, is that the olfactory tract allows smells to travel to different brain areas, including the amygdala, hippocampus, and the OFC. And then these are all involved in emotions, memory, and learning. So all of it's interconnected, and all of it is included in our sense of smell. Pretty amazing.
All right.
Now that we finished all the content, I'm going to be talking about the monthly challenge for this topic. So real quick, a monthly challenge is basically like a way for you to apply what you've learned and like creative aspects so that you can basically like understand the topic better. So each month for each topic, you'll have a different challenge that you can do, and it's completely optional, but we highly recommend you do it because you can learn a lot by doing it. And so for this month, your challenge is the brain movie. So you basically need to create a video that describes how your sense of smell is linked to memory. So you can film a video about a smell that is special to you, either make a presentation on like Google Slides or PowerPoint on it, or you can just like set up a camera and then talk to it. And then follow the criteria listed on the right side. And then once you're finished, you can submit the video onto Google Classroom, and it's due on January 30th at 11:59 Eastern Time. and Jelani will go over the criteria for this.
Hi, okay, thank you. So basically to just give you an overall vision of the criteria, so the video must be between 1 to 3 minutes, as much as you'd like in between those ranges. The video must explain how a smell is connected to a special memory in your brain. So everything that you've learned in today's workshop, basically in a video, you can include personal, like, oh, I love the smell of peppermint because it reminds me of Christmas. Then you kind of explain how it goes through your brain and kind of take everything that you've had in this workshop and apply it. So you can use the vocabulary and knowledge that you learned in the workshop. Like Ananya said, the video can include a presentation, graphics, photographs, but it has to be appropriate. And then, if possible, if you made a presentation, you are allowed to cite sources. It's not mandatory, as some people may not know how to cite. But usually to cite, you use the link at the top of the browser, and you kind of just put it on the end slide, but it isn't mandatory. Only if you know how to do it, you're able to do it. And then I think that's it.
All right. So does anyone have any questions about the workshop or the challenge? You can send them in the chat. For Kelly, yes, you can do some research to help out your video. It's not mandatory, but you can do some of your own research. Do we have access to the slideshow? Gerline, I think you would know the answer to that one.
Yes, so the slideshow is going to be posted shortly after this workshop, and you'll be able to refer to it if you're doing the challenge or if you're taking notes after, whatever it may be. This will be posted on the Google Classroom. Again, the workshop is recorded and it will be posted onto YouTube, and I'll send the link as well on the Google Classroom. That'll be a little bit later, maybe like midweek next week.
Shlok, yes, you can list the sources. Again, it's not mandatory, but you can list the book name or people, I guess, if you are listening to them if you'd like. The recording will be uploaded, and with the slideshow, the criteria will be on the classroom. And the person asking for help, we will have office hours next week as well. As Gerline's saying in the chat. So yeah, you can attend those if you need help. If no one else has any questions. Oh. You can do it on Adobe or just like your phone or anything really.
So you can make it that like you're just sitting there in front of the camera talking. You could use like a PowerPoint and then kind of record yourself going through the PowerPoint. If you know how to use something like Adobe or some animation software, you can use it. It's really up to you what you're most comfortable doing.
All right. So thank you guys all for attending. We hope you enjoyed the workshop. If you're a parent or educator in the audience, sitting in or in the audience at all, who would like to use our lesson plans in the future, please contact us at the bottom email, presynapticproject@simplyneuroscience.org. And if anyone has any questions, all of our emails are linked there. Feel free to contact us if you need. And again, office hours are next week, which you are feel free to attend, are at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.